Running triplex from a building to a light pole is generally not compliant with the National Electrical Code (NEC). The NEC dictates specific requirements for service drops and service entrance conductors, and using triplex in this manner typically falls short of those standards. It's important to understand why this method is problematic and what alternatives are acceptable. Triplex, while suitable for some overhead applications, is often considered a service drop when spanning from a building to a remote structure like a light pole. The NEC has strict guidelines regarding service drops, primarily concerning their height above ground, clearances from buildings, and the methods of support. If triplex is used as a service drop, it must meet these requirements. One of the key issues is the point of attachment. The NEC usually requires service entrance conductors to be installed on a service mast or other approved support. Triplex is generally not considered an approved conductor for direct attachment to a service mast, as it may not provide the necessary strength and durability. Service entrance conductors are the wires that bring power from the service drop to the building's service equipment, such as the main breaker panel. The NEC emphasizes the need for adequate physical protection for service entrance conductors. Simply running triplex exposed from a building to a light pole does not typically provide sufficient protection from physical damage, such as impacts from vehicles, weather events, or vandalism. The code mandates that service entrance conductors be protected by conduit, such as rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or electrical metallic tubing, or be installed as underground feeder of cable. Using triplex in an exposed manner leaves the conductors vulnerable and non-compliant. A more suitable and code-compliant solution involves running conduit underground from the building to the light pole. This offers several advantages. Firstly, it provides excellent physical protection for the conductors. Secondly, it allows for the use of approved wiring methods within the conduit, such as individual conductors like THHN or THWN. Thirdly, it ensures a safe and reliable electrical connection to the light pole. Underground feeder of cable is another viable option, especially if direct burial is permitted by local codes and soil conditions. UF cable is designed for direct burial applications and has a robust outer jacket that protects the conductors from moisture and physical damage. When installing UF cable, it's essential to follow the manufacturer's instructions and comply with the NEC requirements for burial depth and protection from physical damage. The NEC provides specific guidelines for installing underground wiring, including minimum burial depths and the use of warning ribbons or other methods to prevent accidental damage during excavation. It is crucial to consult the NEC and local electrical codes to determine the appropriate wiring method and installation practices for your specific situation. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it's always best to consult with a qualified electrician if you're unsure about any aspect of the installation. They can assess the site conditions, determine the applicable code requirements, and ensure that the work is performed safely and correctly. In summary, while running triplex from a building to a light pole might seem like a quick and easy solution, it is often non-compliant with the NEC due to concerns about service drop requirements, physical protection, and approved wiring methods. Using conduit or UF cable is generally a safer and more code-compliant approach. Always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that your electrical installations meet all applicable requirements. Here's a more detailed look at the relevant aspects of the NEC that relate to this situation. Article 230 covers service entrances. This article provides comprehensive requirements for service conductors, equipment, and installation methods. Section 230.24 specifically addresses clearances for service drops. It specifies the minimum vertical clearances above ground, roadways, and other structures. These clearances are crucial for ensuring safety and preventing accidental contact with energized conductors. Section 230.28 covers service masts. If a service mast is used to support the service drop, it must be of adequate strength and properly installed. The NEC specifies the minimum size and type of materials that can be used for service masts. Section 230.50 covers protection against physical damage. Service entrance conductors must be protected from physical damage by raceway, cable armor, or other approved means. This protection is essential to prevent damage to the conductors and maintain the integrity of the electrical system. Article 300 addresses wiring methods. This article provides general requirements for wiring methods, including the types of conductors and cables that can be used in various applications. Section 300.5 specifically covers underground installations. It specifies the minimum burial depths for different types of cables and raceways. The NEC mandates that underground wiring be installed in a manner that protects it from physical damage and moisture. UF cable is listed in Article 340. This article covers the requirements for UF cable, including its allowable uses and installation methods. UF cable is suitable for direct burial applications, but it must be installed in accordance with the NEC and the manufacturer's instructions. Article 310 provides information on conductors for general wiring. This article covers the ampacity, insulation, and other characteristics of conductors. It is important to select conductors that are suitable for the voltage, current, and environmental conditions of the installation. When choosing conductors for an underground installation, it's crucial to select those that are listed for wet locations and direct burial. Article 314 addresses junction boxes, pull boxes, and handhole enclosures. These enclosures are used to protect electrical connections and provide access for maintenance and repairs. The NEC specifies the requirements for the size, construction, and installation of these enclosures. When installing underground wiring, it's often necessary to use junction boxes or pull boxes to facilitate pulling the conductors through the conduit. These enclosures must be rated for underground use and properly sealed to prevent moisture from entering. Now let's consider some specific scenarios and how the NEC would apply. Firstly, if the triplex is used as a service drop and the distance from the building to the light pole exceeds the allowable span for the conductor size, it would violate the NEC. The NEC specifies the maximum allowable span for different types of conductors based on their size and material. Exceeding the maximum span can lead to excessive sag, which can reduce the clearance above ground and increase the risk of damage to the conductors. Secondly, if the triplex is not properly supported at the light pole, it would violate the NEC. The NEC requires that service drops be supported by insulators or other approved hardware. The supports must be strong enough to withstand the weight of the conductors and the forces of wind and ice. Thirdly, if the triplex is not protected from physical damage, it would violate the NEC. The NEC requires that service entrance conductors be protected from physical damage by raceway, cable armor, or other approved means. If the triplex is exposed to vehicular traffic, vandalism, or other potential hazards, it must be protected by conduit or other suitable means. Fourthly, if the triplex is not properly terminated at the building and the light pole, it would violate the NEC. The NEC requires that service entrance conductors be terminated in an approved manner using connectors and fittings that are listed for the purpose. The terminations must be made in a weatherproof enclosure to prevent moisture from entering the electrical system. Fifthly, if the underground conduit is not buried at the proper depth, it would violate the NEC. The NEC specifies the minimum burial depths for different types of raceways based on the voltage of the conductors and the type of soil. The conduit must be buried deep enough to protect it from physical damage and frost heaves. Let's consider some best practices for installing underground wiring to a light pole. Firstly, start by consulting with a qualified electrician. They can assess the site conditions, determine the applicable code requirements, and design a safe and code-compliant installation. Secondly, obtain all necessary permits before starting work. Electrical work often requires permits from the local building department. Obtaining permits ensures that the work is inspected and meets all applicable codes and regulations. Thirdly, plan the route of the conduit or UF cable carefully. Avoid areas where there is a risk of damage from digging, traffic, or other hazards. Fourthly, use the proper tools and equipment. Installing underground wiring requires specialized tools, such as trenchers, cable pullers, and conduit benders. Make sure you have the proper tools and equipment before starting work. Fifthly, follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing the conduit or UF cable. The manufacturer's instructions provide valuable information on the proper installation techniques and precautions. Sixthly, use weatherproof connectors and fittings. Underground wiring is exposed to moisture and other environmental factors. Use connectors and fittings that are specifically designed for underground use and are listed as weatherproof. Seventhly, backfill the trench carefully. Use clean fill material and compact it properly to prevent settling. Eighthly, test the installation after it is complete. Use a multimeter to check the voltage and continuity of the conductors. Also, test the ground fault circuit interrupter, GFCI, protection, if applicable. Ninthly, document the installation. Keep a record of the route of the conduit or UF cable, the type of conductors used, and the location of any junction boxes or pull boxes. This information will be helpful for future maintenance and repairs. In addition to the technical aspects of the installation, it's also important to consider the safety aspects. Firstly, always disconnect the power before working on electrical circuits. Use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off. Secondly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, such as safety glasses, gloves, and a hard hat. Thirdly, be aware of underground utilities. Call your local utility companies before digging to locate any underground gas lines, water lines, or other utilities. Fourthly, work safely around energized equipment. Maintain a safe distance from overhead power lines and other energized equipment. Fifthly, if you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it's always best to leave it to the professionals if you're not sure what you're doing. In conclusion, running triplex from a building to a light pole is generally not a code-compliant solution. The NEC requires that service entrance conductors be protected from physical damage and installed in accordance with specific requirements for service drops. Using conduit or UF cable is generally a safer and more code-compliant approach. Always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that your electrical installations meet all applicable requirements. Remember that electrical codes are designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. By following the NEC and other applicable codes, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe and reliable. It's also worth noting that local electrical codes may be more stringent than the NEC. Be sure to check with your local building department to determine the specific requirements for your area. This discussion highlights the importance of understanding and adhering to electrical codes. Electrical codes are not just arbitrary rules. They are based on years of experience and research and are designed to prevent electrical fires, shocks, and other hazards. By following electrical codes, you can help to ensure the safety of yourself, your family, and your community. The complexity of electrical installations underscores the value of professional expertise. While some minor electrical tasks might seem straightforward, larger projects, especially those involving service entrances and underground wiring, demand a thorough understanding of the NEC, local codes, and safe work practices. Engaging a licensed electrician ensures that the work is performed correctly, minimizing risks and providing peace of mind. Furthermore, a licensed electrician can provide valuable guidance on energy efficiency and cost-saving measures. They can recommend energy-efficient lighting fixtures, appliances, and wiring methods that can help you reduce your electricity consumption and lower your energy bills. They can also help you identify and correct any electrical problems that may be wasting energy. In summary, while this discussion focused on the specific issue of running triplex to a light pole, it also touched on broader themes related to electrical safety, code compliance, and the importance of professional expertise. Electrical work is not a do-it-yourself project. It requires knowledge, skill, and experience. By understanding the NEC, following safe work practices, and consulting with a qualified electrician, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe, reliable, and energy efficient. The ongoing evolution of electrical technology and codes highlights the need for continuous learning. Electricians are required to stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC and other relevant standards. They attend continuing education courses and participate in professional development activities to maintain their knowledge and skills. This commitment to lifelong learning ensures that electricians are able to provide the best possible service to their customers and keep up with the ever-changing landscape of the electrical industry. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility. While electricians play a crucial role in ensuring the safety of electrical installations, everyone has a responsibility to be aware of electrical hazards and take precautions to prevent accidents. This includes following safe work practices around electricity, using electrical appliances and equipment properly, and reporting any electrical problems to a qualified electrician. By working together, we can create a safer electrical environment for everyone. Consider the impact of unqualified work. Improperly installed electrical systems can pose significant risks, including electrical fires, shocks, and equipment damage. These risks can have serious consequences for individuals and businesses. Electrical fires can cause extensive property damage, injuries, and even fatalities. Electrical shocks can cause serious injuries, including burns, cardiac arrest, and death. Equipment damage can lead to costly repairs and downtime. By hiring a qualified electrician, you can minimize these risks and ensure that your electrical systems are installed and maintained properly. In conclusion, the seemingly simple question of running Triplex to a light pole has revealed a complex web of code requirements, safety considerations, and professional responsibilities. Electrical work is not something to be taken lightly. It requires a thorough understanding of the NEC local codes and safe work practices. By following these guidelines and consulting with a qualified electrician, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe, reliable, and energy efficient. Always remember that electrical safety is paramount. Prioritize safety in all electrical work and consult with a qualified professional if you have any doubts or concerns. Your safety and the safety of others depend on it.